like if Afara was bullying, right? Like you pick hit scan. If there's like a Genji, you pick McCree. Like I knew like what to pick against characters. I
Yeah.
feel like in this game, I have no idea. Like what counters like a Wolverine bullying your tanks or like a Black Panther on your healers, right? Like I don't know
Yeah.
what to go.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that's just like kind of a skill curve. You're learning everything, so you kind of got to figure it as you go. Like I'm still in that process of figuring out everything. Obviously, I think that there's some things that you can kind of take like that are still gonna be similar, right? Like if you're working up against like sky characters, right? Pick things that are like hit scan that you can shoot them out with. So if they're running like Iron Man or Storm, then obviously you can you're going to have a better job shooting them out of the air if you're running like Star-Lord, Punisher, Hela, Hawkeye, characters that can very easily shoot them out of the air. If they're running
Hmm.
divey characters, you can either go anti-dive or or just counter their dive and just play the same thing. So anti-dive could be like Winter Soldier, right, with his ability, Namor with his turrets, like things like that that might have the ability to hit things easily.
Yeah, I've been liking Namor against counter dive, but like
Yeah.
sometimes it feels like it doesn't even work.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Like I don't know, Namor feels weird. Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh
You're
fuck.
using your 3 times in a row you use your invis to engage, when I'd probably recommend using it as a disengage tool. Not
Okay.
always, not exclusively, but it works really well to get out with, because you can like just TP out and then invis and then they have a really hard time finding you. So you're gonna have a lot harder of a time disengaging without it, and then when a lot of times engaging is a lot easier than disengaging.
Okay. So would you just recommend? Okay,
Co-
that's gonna be
coming,
hard. That's
yeah,
like a wrong habit or like a bad
yeah,
habit for me to get out of.
yeah, yeah. I think a part of it is that you're just running at them from the front instead of from the sides and from behind. Whereas like an angle like this, you can wait a second and then engage on them on their back, and then now you don't need your cloak to get in.
Got it.
Yeah, so now you're able to just engage on their back line, and you didn't even need to use your cloak. And taking those off angles and those flanks is going to be really beneficial for you because you are able to do that without getting shot at by their whole team, expending resources to get in.
Oh god, I hate this new character. I feel like he never dies. No.
Oh, unfortunate. Yeah, I think we just need to, once we start getting lower, bit too far out in the open and didn't disengage far enough from the fight.
Uh, I think I should have just kept running too. Probably shouldn't have
Yeah.
tried to go for the storm ult or the Sue ult. Also, how do you find people are using like Psylocke ult in this game? Because I feel like it's horrible when they're like balled up. Like it just
Yeah.
doesn't do enough damage.
Yeah. So you want to just wait for them to be mildly grouped up, but not crazy grouped, right? You probably want like 2 or 3 people to be grouped. Good disengage.
Fuck.
Be a bit quicker on, like, just be ready for him to be throwing that Ankh. We were a bit slow to TP out of it, and then that got you really low.
Okay. I'm probably gonna die here. Never mind.
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
Yeah. Yeah, pay attention to where your team's at, because I don't think we really had much team follow-up there. We're still down like 2 people while we're engaging.
Here they come now.
So, it might have been better just to group up before going in.
Yeah, I think I was trying to live right there. I don't know. I would have to watch it, but I think I was like in a sticky situation. I was just trying to live, but
Yeah. In the future, then, if we're trying to get out, taking more of a side route than trying to run out through the middle.
oh, that still killed me.
Yep.
Oh, it followed me so far.
Yeah.
I have reawakened. Step aside.
No. What do you usually play? Are you like a DPS main? I think I saw that it was.
Mostly DPS, and then I've been flexed to support a bit. Not as much tank, but I think I'd still be able to run it fine. DPS wise, honestly, even though they're not at least Iron Man's not. I really like Iron Man's playstyle. I love how similar he is to like Pharah and Overwatch. Honestly, I think I play him better than most people. Like I think I have a crazy high win rate on him. And then Moon Knight's probably my second highest. I've flexed around the time. Like I've played multiple games on every character in the game, some more than others. But try to be familiar with as many things as possible.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny that you said Iron Man plays like Pharah, because I feel like every time I see an Iron Man on the enemy team, they're always behind us, and I feel like Pharah, like she did do that, but she doesn't do it as much as I feel like Iron Man does.
Yeah, I think a lot of things are similar in terms of sky cover usage, and spam play styles and stuff like that.
Farewell.
Hey, Teeny, enjoy the amplifier.
Mind over matter. Poison laddie.
Mission area is yours.
Even small victories are worth celebrating. You're mine.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
I don't even know what happened there.
I think he got pulled in from the Ankh, maybe.
Oh, I did. Damn.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yep. So they're just probably disengaging quicker. Don't be afraid to if you're like in a really scrappy situation, don't be afraid to use all your abilities just to get away.
Got him.
It's better than dying with them.
Control lost.
What a difference. Out of sight.
Feel the wrath of the goddess.
Step aside.
I don't have anything.
Yeah, whoopsies. Yeah. Did we I think we invised in, right? That was
Yeah,
the
that's
problem.
gonna be such a hard habit for me to break, because I think that's how I've been playing Psylocke mostly, is like invising behind them.
Yeah. Which isn't it's always a bad idea. But I think generally you're gonna want to reverse that and have that as a more of a disengage tool, and to find ways to get in on the sides without invising. Because it's definitely possible to get in on the sides. Like, you just gotta kill they're fine without invising in.
Double kill. more than half of the mission area.
What?
Keep going.
Choose Invis.
No.
Us against the world.
So they're just watch playing 2 aggro on like 2 or 3 people. Just don't take the duel if you don't need to.
Oh.
Be wary until we destroy us.
Control lost. They've almost got it.
I don't give up so easily.
You're mine. Feel the wrath of the goddess.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Maybe could have ulted.
I mean, I don't think.
dash in the ult and to stall for time.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, but then I don't know if my team would have been able to touch, and my ult doesn't. I mean, we touched anyways, but like the ult C9s in this game, like there's a few ult that C9.
Yeah. I got you.
I wasn't sure our team was going to be able to touch though, and
Yeah,
I was.
fair enough.
Yeah.
So.
But I do agree that was probably the better play.
So let's look at like what I think that your aim and mechanics are fine. Like you do great aiming. You did I think have a lot of very preventable deaths. And I think that mixing up the play style a little bit, and then focusing on staying alive, so that you can therefore do more things, right? Like if we just think about, like, for example, you had 8 deaths that game, in the course of, let's see, how long of a game was that? Like less
10
than
minutes.
10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
8 deaths in 10 minutes. Almost like a death a minute or so, especially if you have if you're taking into account. Yeah, it was a 9-minute and 50-second game, and then you also have like spawn times as well.
Yeah.
Almost a death a minute. If you take all of those and you say like each death isn't just 10 seconds of respawn, but it's also the walk back time as well. So it's
Yeah.
20 seconds per death, times 8 divided by 60. That means that in that 9-minute game, you had 2 minutes and 40 seconds of it that you were just completely done and out of fights for, which is what, like a fourth of your game or so,
Yeah.
almost a third of your game, that you are just unable to do anything. And not only is it you doing absolutely nothing, it's also negative value because now your team's more likely to lose those fights without you, now that you've died. So cutting back on deaths going to help significantly. I think that so you were in those fights, you're securing kills fine. Let's talk about a few things real quick before you queue. I'm gonna
Yeah, for sure.
I think we already kind of talked about some of these things, but just to go more in depth on them, before we go. All right. So in terms of staying alive, we don't want to just leave it at that. We want to go a little bit further, and think about, like, okay, well, why are you dying? What are the things that cause it? Obviously, we talked about the mixing up your and thinking about like your abilities. I think a lot of times you just got in very hairy situations and we're able to disengage from them. So what are ways that we can do this better? Well, we can look to use cover more. We can look to disengage quicker from those hairy situations. You can look to use your abilities better, because there's sometimes where you're dying and you had abilities left still, like you die with your invis up or you die with an extra dash available. So instead of like doing a single dash out, maybe we can double dash to disengage, or double dash and invis. Finding new ways to engage so we are better to disengage. So a lot of times, especially towards the start, what we were doing is you would come in from the main angle. So if this is, let's see if I can find, is this a good, I guess this is a fine spot to do it in. I'm just trying to, maybe over here is better. All right, so if this is the enemy team and this is your team, roughly speaking, right, and you're trying to engage from here, then they're all looking at. They can all look at you. They can all see you. They you'll be taking a lot of extra damage, and that's why you were using your invis to engage. Is well, they're all looking at you. So if you use your invis to engage, then you can get off to the side flank, and now you can be here and you can just do that and melt someone and then disengage. Right. So that's the idea. Right, which is a fine idea, but what if we just took this and we just did it a little bit differently, where instead of engaging from the main angle, we come and take what you call an off angle, just a little short little off to the side thing, where we come over here and now we can blow someone up from over on the side, and then disengage with the invis, or disengage with a TP invis, which that's probably going to be a really good way to get out in a lot of cases, because that'll make it really hard for people to see you, especially if you can get it like up in the air. That'll make it really confusing as to where you went. So we blow something up. Oh, darn it. I hit a ceiling. Get up and then TP, and then you can just really disengage very easily. But get on those off angles, get on those flanks. She's a very, Psylocke is very off angle and flank heavy. Off angles are very short and safe generally, right? So it's just coming off into another little room like this, right? It took you like 2 seconds. You can get back to your team very easily. It's very safe. Psylocke has a lot of mobility and survivability, so she can afford to do flanks. Flanks are usually more longer and more dangerous, so it'd be like if we went like all the way around over here, right? That's a bit more flanky in nature, but she can do that. You just gotta be more careful when you're doing that kind of thing, and you know, maybe like play around health packs and be just extra careful when you're doing that kind of thing. So that's general play style that probably wanna fix up. Your ultimate, I think, could see a bit more value. I think we only ever got like one person, like you only ever got like 1 case with your ultimate. Sometimes like people are just disengaging out of it. So make sure that when you're engaging, there's like you probably want around like 3 people in your ult, because even if one of them gets out of it, you have 2 more people in your ultimate. You don't want it to be on 5 or 6 people, because 5 or 6 people, you'll be damaging nobody, right? Because you'll be hitting too many people all at the same time. But if you have like 2 or 3 people, then you'll be able to finish them off pretty easily. I think you can get with all of your strikes. I believe you're able to get 3 people, 3 squishies with your ultimate. But if you do too many, then you're not getting anybody, and if you do too little, then you're only getting 1. So you kind of want to find that balance. I think too often, I think you erred on the side of doing too little, where you would only ever get like 1 person. So I think you could try to get a few extra in your ultimates.
Yeah, I really don't like the way that the ult is coded, where it like slashes the person who's been slashed the least, because then if you have multiple people in there, right, it's like bound to not kill anybody. And then also the new, like, Sue can just double jump away from it. So it's like what I used to, like season 0, what I liked to use Psylocke ult for was like the 2 healers, like Mantis, Rocket, like any of those healers. If they're on the back line, I would just ult the healers, and most of the time you'd get them. But with Dagger's bubble, Dagger's bubble up every like 10 seconds, she can live 3 strikes instead of 2, just sitting in her bubble, and then Superwoman can just jump out of it really easy. So like I feel like it's really hard. Like, I honestly think Psylocke's ult is the worst part of her kit, and like I think it's really hard to like get good value out of it.
Yeah. So in that case, but that's why it is good to just think of it like you don't need to think of it like it's don't think of it like it's gonna be a massive team wipe, which is good, and just try to use it frequently. It's just gonna be it's just gonna be really easy free pick or 2, right? And so that's a really good way to think of it. But don't forget, you can also focus up you can, if those supports can get out of it, then focus on the DPS as well, right? Get some DPS in there. If people are already low as well, then you'll be able to get even more people out of it, and you could even potentially have more people in it if people are already low HP, because then it'll just finish them off. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we're going to talk about. Cover usage and properly manipulating it. So this is going to help stay alive. And then we'll in your next game, we can focus a bit more. Like if it's coming up more, we can focus more on survivability as well. But really quickly, just really simply, if you are positioning over here, right, and you start shooting at people and they start looking at you and they start shooting at you, it's going to take you 2.5 seconds to get behind a corner from over here. But if you're already standing next to something and you're able to just do this, well, now you can't shoot these odd objects. You're completely safe by the time you're here. But in that time it took you to walk over here, you ended up dying. You're way too far out in the open. If you're playing around the corner, then you can manipulate your cover and make it so that they can no longer shoot at you and you're completely safe. So therefore, good positioning is the usage of cover, whereas bad positioning is the absence of cover. The further away you stray from it, the worse off you're going to be. The great thing is cover's all over the place. You have rooms and doorways and random pillars around the map like this. High grounds all act as natural cover. They're phenomenal. High grounds are also just fantastic in general for cover, and characters have a hard time reaching you, and you have additional visibility on them. Different slopes act as cover, pillars, things like that. They're all over the place. Cover usage. All right, I think we're good if you go and try to hop in your next game, and we'll go from there. Feel free to.
Do you want me to hop in a comp, or are you cool with quick play?
I think quick play worked fine in the last game.
Okay.
It's up to you though.
Cool.
4 in a row.
I'll stick with quick play, I think. I don't know how well I'll be like with somebody like watching like in my ear. No, like obviously like that's what you're supposed to do, but like I don't know like how well I'll be able to like concentrate on like a ranked game doing that.
Yep. Okay. You stopped streaming, by the way. You have to open it up again. Okay.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
My Overwatch is sharp. My mind is sharper.
Yeah. So once again, like I would focus on staying alive and engaging and trying to engage differently and change up that play style of just engage. Try to take those off angles in flanks to get on their back line instead of trying to use your abilities, because then all your abilities can be used in the duel or to disengage with.
Okay.
This should be easy.
Like, for example, here, I mean, you can shoot at anybody if they are close enough, but you can very easily go through. So from cart there's that left-hand building that you can easily just go through and get behind them. Very, you can kind of spam at them as you're running through and then just get on their back line.
I think there's also this is actually one of the maps I enjoy playing on Psylocke, because I feel like there's so many avenues.
Yep.
There's a couple maps that I like, just like Odin's Archive. I don't know if you know that map, but
the Dominion one or the Escort?
The 3-cap.
3-cap. Okay, yeah.
Like Odin's Archive, I hate playing Psylocke on that map. I feel like it's like borderline unplayable. Which wall is it? This wall. Does this break? How are you supposed to get up here with this?
Press B.
Oh,
yeah,
this one.
What a difference.
crew on your side, Spider. A mystical artifact of some sort.
Yeah. Look to just survive on the flank longer. You're getting pressured out very quickly, so instead of just running into them, play opportunistically. So wait for, like, poke and poke and poke and wait for something to get low, and then you can get more aggressive and engage on it. But play to stay alive on the flank, because if you are getting pressured out after like 2 seconds, and then you're just going to do a lot less.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like that was better. You stayed alive longer. So you play off of cover, play a little bit further back, wait for something to happen, and then you can get more aggressive.
You're on our team now,
Got
Zero.
it.
Let's do this.
Yeah. So that'll help you stay in behind them and be a threat longer. And then also when you're disengaging, you don't have to disengage back to your team per se. Like you had the tendency to like, oh, you're in trouble, and then you'd use all 3 abilities to get back to the front line. When you don't need to get back to the front line per se. You just go find a health, get behind them and go find a health pack.
Got it.
Nice.
Ah,
Uh-oh.
This is real firepower!
What a disgrace.
well, that was a good flick.
My hunt out of sight. Step aside. Anyone willing to help?
The web of life and destiny.
Disappear!
Woo! Never miss.
Oh, that's fortunate. Watch walking in straight lines. I think you're kind of just walking at him in a straight line there. Maybe could have dashed at him to finish him off there.
Yeah, I was going for it. I didn't think I was in range, and then he headshot me. Damn. That's like... I wish I had the thing that you can see like people are pressing, because I like as I died I was pressing it. I was just too late on it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Watch, you can poke now, but you don't have teammates.
Did that help?
Nice.
Anyone willing to help?
This is real firepower!
The health packs. What is going on?
Stand back, folks.
Get that vehicle moving again!
I guess everybody died.
My hunt continues.
I swear I saw Invisible Woman and Moon Knight there, but I guess I was mistaken or they died. I don't really know what's going on. I might hop into a ranked one. I feel like it's pretty hard to... Oops.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Oh my god.
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
Yep. We just know that we only got 25 minutes, so we probably have time. Maybe have time for one. I mean, we have. You also got the notes, so I don't have to take a crazy long time with the like review at the end, because that'll kind of be covered in the notes. So
Okay.
I think you should be good. I mean, the queue time will be instant, so I think
Okay.
we should be fine.
I mean, I could try to find a replay, but like I said, I don't think I have a replay of Psylocke. It's up to you.
Yeah.
What do you...
I think we probably, unless it's like a really long game, that'd be like the only
Okay.
problem is if it's a long game.
It's okay. In my history of games so far, I haven't had any long games. They've all kind of been fucking stomps one way or the other, so we'll see.
That's funny. I've had quite a few that have gone really long and got into you have multiple rounds go through, like the 60 kill games. Those are fun ones.
I had one of those. Yeah, I had one 70 kill game. It was
Oh my
22
goodness,
minutes.
71 kill game. That's crazy. I've never my highest I've had is 62. I've had maybe like 3 of them that have been like that.
Yeah, this one we pushed the entire cart. We only had a minute on attack on OT, and we pushed the entire cart to the third point on OT. Like we never got off it.
Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to be an instant queue. Yeah, have you I'm curious if it's been like your experience too this season. Are you having trouble climbing? Like my first season I had like a 70% win rate. On like this season I'm like below 50. Like I'm struggling this season to find good games.
I haven't, like I said, I haven't been playing as much because of the fact as last season, because just circumstantially, like all my friends just got
Got
back from
it. Okay.
college. But I mean, probably part of that. I mean, part of it might just be that the team, like everything changed up, like all the like they changed up the balance of the game, which could be messing with you a little bit if you're not used to it. And then there's also just the fact that all the players are slowly getting better, right? Everybody's
Okay.
increasing in skill level as they understand the game more. So people are now starting to like reach your level of just basic understanding of the game. So if they're reaching the same level as you in understanding of the game, you have to surpass them in other areas.
Pick your hero
Got it.
or villain
So
from
those are different ideas, different things that could impact it.
My mind is sharper.
You were also the other thing as well is that last season you were climbing up from bronze 3, so of course you're gonna have a higher win rate when you're climbing up those really low levels as well.
Got it. I mean that makes sense.
But
Yeah, I've been finding
now you might be starting to hit more of a plateau peak. So now you have to figure out what is that next thing you have to do to break through to that higher level.
Yeah, the plateau for me was like a bit. I mean, honestly, last season I didn't really have a plateau. I got to GM. I couldn't play. I was like in vacation, so I couldn't really play all that much the first season. And I was able to hit GM like 2 days before the season reset, and like I was still climbing in GM. Like it wasn't really like the games. Like I feel like I struggle more in the games now than I did last season. Like I don't know if it's something to do with like the matchmaking or there's no. I think I read somewhere that there was like no MMR in this game, so you're actually getting placed with people that are like plat MMR and stuff. But I feel like a lot of the times you'll have like that one person that's like 1 in 25 and like just doesn't know how the game's working and is not calming and like I don't know. I feel like that's been my experience with this season a lot. But also, I don't know how much of that is cope and how much of that is. Oh, hello.
Yep. Well, if you get better, then you'll probably be able to carry those kind of people. Hopefully. Good job taking that off angle. Maybe back up a hair. Sometimes you like jump into the middle of the fight, and that's gonna be pretty dangerous, especially for Psylocke, who's very squishy.
Sure.
You kind of want to stick more towards like the sides and the backs of engagements rather than right on the top of them.
Got it.
capture the mission area.
Sayonara.
I thought I would kill him. I struggle hitting the small characters in this game.
We are undefeatable.
This will do nicely.
That's the problem. But also I feel more Spider-Man return. I don't want to hit you more than I have to.
Human magic
Oh fuck.
Without Spider-Man, he's yours.
Oh, should have jumped.
Yeah, they're playing a really tanky composition, so I think that you're having trouble, and we also ulted on like all of the tanks, so I think that's where you're struggling to get value. We got to pick off those squishies.
We are undefeatable.
Oh, I should have touched. I thought we would walk up. My bad. Yeah, so like right here where nothing feels like it's working on our team, like what would you say is like a viable switch option?
I mean, like, really, you can just try anything to see if it, like, to see what works. They're running a very tanky composition, so running something that is going to be able to kill tanks better, like, shred through a bulky composition better than a Psylocke. Like, Psylocke really is good at melting the squishies. She's good at dueling the one-on-ones, and they just have less duelists. Like, you're gonna struggle to kill, for example, like, their Magic. And you don't want to spend the whole time chasing around their Psylocke.
Yeah. Also, I don't know, like, this is probably me just being bad, but the really small characters like the Mantis, the Lunas, are really hard for me to kill on Psylocke. I feel like just not enough bullets of the pellets hit them. So, like, the easy targets for me when I'm playing Psylocke are definitely like Moon Knight, Punisher, like the ones that have like small, like a 250, 275 HP Storm, but have thicker hitboxes. Like the really small support hitboxes, I feel like are so hard for me, especially with the third person.
Yeah.
Who broke that?
Nice.
Excellent form.
Okay. We'll go over some aim stuff after this game's done.
You need their power.
Shake it up. Control lost.
Good. You needed it. There, ahead. I found them.
We are undefeatable.
Uh-oh. You used it while she was ulting there.
The Psylocke?
No, the Mantis ulted, so I don't think we were gonna get a kill while she was ulting.
Oh, okay, got it. I don't know, like this is one of those games where like it feels unwinnable.
Yeah. See, the Moon Knight though, I think Moon Knight struggles because they're not running. They're not. I mean, we also have your ultimate, but so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like I do.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. No. I'll let you talk.
Just because they're all spread out, is the thing, and they're not playing as like a grouped up composition. So he struggles when they're like that because he can't stack his onks.
Yeah.
There, if you're trying to find a way to get out of it, you have your grapple. That's an option for movement.
I've come
Yeah.
from far worse than that.
So, besides it, because I can't play Iron Man at all, which I feel like Iron Man would be pretty good here, especially because we have a Hulk. Besides, like, Iron Man, what do you think would be a good... Oh, shit. Would be a good pick into this team?
Other things you play. I mean...
Oh my gosh.
Storm might not be the worst because the Magic won't be able to contest you. I mean, you could potentially counter Magic. Punisher, I don't think would be horrible. He'd be decent at tank shredding. and his shock. You just have to be careful because if you just have to be very careful because of their dive DPS. You have to be very careful
Mhm.
to stay alive against them.
Against the world.
Behold, the child!
Hostiles up front.
I would just try to let your team stall as long as possible so that you can get picks. But all right.
Yeah, I think I was the last one. Maybe the Wolverine would have lived, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Let's go over a few things. We don't have time for another comp
Yeah,
game,
for
though.
Strange. For sure. Sorry, I said Strange because I read it.
All good. All right.
This was also just like a very vocal game. I feel like my games usually aren't like everybody was talking.
Oh, okay. I couldn't even hear it. Guess
Well, no, not in comms. Like everybody was yapping in. Like everybody was talking shit in chat. I don't know if you saw the chat like
Gotcha.
popping off.
Yeah, I saw.
That doesn't usually happen.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Firstly, let's talk about crosser placement real quick. So something that I'm noticing. Oh, you can go through the left door. Cool. Something noticing with crosshair placement is that you tend to do hit some headshots once, like you don't not hit headshots all the time, but you have a tendency to keep your crosshair really low to the ground, right? And that's gonna mess with your ability to aim. Crosshair placement is using your brain to help your aim. It's placing your crosshair in the best place possible to hit as easy shots as possible. And the first major step to this is aiming head level, because headshots do that versus that, right? It's a very big difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bars versus 1, 2, 3. Oh, honestly, on Psylocke, that's not as big of a deal as other characters. That's not most other characters are like 2 times damage. Psylocke, that's actually. Oh no, never mind. I must miss shots there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, almost 6 versus 1, 2, 3, almost 4. So it is significantly more damage when you're hitting those headshots than when you're hitting body shots. And if you're walking around aiming down here, well then when you go up to people, you have to adjust up to the left, up to the right. And more adjustment means harder shots, which means you're more likely to miss those shots than if you're just keeping across their head level and going left, right. Shots become a lot easier. So if you're just doing your thing, and you're just shooting down corridors, shooting into shields, you're just doing your thing, you're spamming from back here, you're just naturally hitting body shots doing that. Now you hear the headshot because because of the spread. But if you're aiming down here, you're just naturally hitting those body shots. But if you aim up here, well, now you're just naturally hitting those headshots because that's where your crosshair's placed. It's just a lot more headshot potential. At distances, you can maybe aim down towards the neck or body because of the spread. If you're aiming right here, you maybe have some shots that go over their head instead of. So let's see, is there a difference between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3? Yeah, so when you're further back, maybe aim more towards the neck or so. So you're not missing pellets. But when you're up close on people, you're not missing those pellets if you're aiming at the head. So aim for headshots, a lot more effective. And aim where you know people are going to be. Pre-aim. So if they're over on the right-hand side, instead of doing it coming out and doing a slow pan off to the right, pre-aim over to the right. Same thing if you have tanks who are up a little higher, make sure you're adjusting up and down for tanks and for people on slopes and things like that, so we can manipulate the fact that we have third person to line up these headshots as we're turning around these corners. We're just already aiming there. We're just going to make these shots very easy to land. If we're just lining up those headshots while we're turning around corners and whatnot. All that making sense? Any questions on any of that?
Yeah, I feel like my crosshair placement is usually pretty good in like FPS games, but I guess I would have to like watch back.
Yeah, watch back if you want to, because what you'll notice is that when you're not in a fight, like let's say you blink out and you're like this, you tend to walk around looking at the ground.
Okay.
You like walk around looking down here, and then once you come into the fight, then you adjust upwards.
Got it. Maybe it's a third person thing that's fucking with me because I feel like I play a lot of Valorant and like I even coach a little Valorant too. So like I know like crosshair placement's super important, right? Especially like CS:GO games like those. But I guess because it's a third person game, it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I'll need to get more used to actually having my crosshair like higher up on a third person. Yeah, I'll have to watch that back. Interesting.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so there's that, and then yeah, in the last game, that's a hard situation. Honestly, you just gotta pick something and mix it up if you need to mix it up. Try to find the right pick for the situation, and then you just gotta get kills and stay alive. I mean, like if your team's getting shredded, then they're getting shredded, and there's not much you can do about it. But you just gotta try to make something work. You know, you can't. You know, if you're not killing stuff, then nothing's ever gonna happen. You might still lose anyways, but. You just gotta try and you know, and hope for the best. Anyway, we're getting to wrap up time. We got like 8 minutes left. Do you have any like final questions about anything?
No, I don't think so. I guess like no, not really.
No.
No, I think I can work with. I mean, I like just watching this like 2 seconds of the beginning. Like, I guess I like never realized how low my crosshair was, which is so interesting because I feel like I'm usually like I'll yell at my like other like we'll play like Valorant and like I'll be like scolding my other friends. I'm like, bro, raise your crosshair, right? Like I'm like that friend. So it's interesting to be told that in this game. But I think I don't know. This is my first like third person active shooter like game that I've ever played, and I think. Like, I can't... Usually, I love hit scan. Like, I won't play Bucky because he's not hit scan, and it's, like, too hard for me to hit the projectiles.
Yeah.
But, like, I cannot play Hella in this game at all. Like, I'm fucking... Like, my accuracy with Hella is, like, 10%. Like, I cannot hit her bullet. Something about, like, the bullet coming from the center of your screen and, like, meeting your crosshair, like, absolutely just does not work for me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, fair enough. I mean, like, I kind of get it. It is a little bit trippy. I got you. All right. Well, let's start to wrap up then. Mostly we're on Psylocke there. Abilities, I think your right clicks are fine. Dashes in your E, I think that those are the ones that need to work, right? Not engaging with them, but looking to use them for disengagement. And your dashes are very flexible too, where you could engage with them, but generally you want them for the duel and to finish and to disengage with. Those are like your kind of, and for mobility and things like that. But if you're using it to engage, then that's one less tool for the duel and for the disengage. Especially with that invis. Invis is really handy for getting out, and you could theoretically use it to get in certain situations if you really need it, but go on those flanks and off angles more frequently to get in. And then once you're on those flanks and off angles, Psylocke is an opportunistic character. In Overwatch, her equivalent would have been like a Tracer or Genji, what that means is that what you were doing is you would come in off the flank and then you would see 5 people and you would just run into them and you just try to make something blow up really quickly, and then you'd be like, oh, they're looking at me, get out, and you'd like come back and jump to the you'd go get back to your team. And there's 2 problems with this. Firstly, when you're getting pressured so quickly out of the fight, then you're actually, like, from all the time between rotating and getting in and out of the fights, you're only spending, what, like a few seconds in each fight? Like, that's not value if you're only there for, like, 2 seconds. That's like boom or bust. Either you get a kill or you do nothing. So one, that's wasting all your time, and so don't disengage back to your team, because then you need to do the entire flank again to get to their back line. So instead of, if you're in their back line, so that's the main angle over there, and we get behind them, instead of like using all of your abilities to get to the back to your team, find somewhere else to disengage disengage up to here or over to there, or disengage over to here. Oh, I didn't even press that button. or you disengage over to the health pack and then get out, something like that, right? So find a different angle to get out, and then when you're getting in, look to stay alive and wait for an opportunity to happen, right? Poke at them from the side, or even like you can poke, try to stay alive from over here.
Good.
You can try to make something low, and then once you make something low, you can play more aggressively on it. So poke, 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 poke. Oh, so now something's low, or something's out of position, or you can duel somebody, or you have your ultimate, or your team's engaging. Those are opportunities. So then you can go and get it more aggro, and try to get kills, and then they start pressuring you, and then you can disengage once they start pressuring you. And then you can kind of wait for those cooldowns to come back, maybe take like a high ground rotation, and we can just engage in them again, try to stay alive as long as possible, all the while using cover, and you'll be in the fight for a much longer period of time.
Got it.
That's 3.
Sorry, that we only have like 3 minutes left. That was a longer explanation. Overall abilities, probably like a higher end of a medium priority for you to work on, or so. Ultimate usage, you know, like a low to medium, or a lower end of a medium. You know, some stuff to work on, like maybe could get like an extra, you know, look to get a few extra kills. Sometimes you use it, make sure that your team's there when you're using it. Make sure that you're using it on more than 2 people, or I mean, like, if they can get, especially if one of them or 2 of them can get out of it easily, wait for them to use those abilities. Wait till they're distracted. Wait till they're low HP. It doesn't always need to be used right. Like, I think a lot of times you're using it always before the as the fight engagement, or in between fights. Maybe sometimes look to use it like more like after the start of a fight or mid-fight, and that way you're using it on characters who have used their abilities and who are lower health, and are more distracted and can't get out of it as easily. Overall, like I said, a little bit lower. Mechanics, some things like some crosshair placement and maybe a bit of target priority. Overall, though, that was a bit lower, so like a, you know, like a lower end of a medium or something. And then awareness. I think I was a bit lower as well. I don't think you struggled too much with awareness. And then finally, positioning. Just make sure that you're taking those off angles and flanks and looking to play around them. And overall, that was like a lower end of a medium. But also positioning and high cover usage and high grounds usage. Something else is like just your general play style. That I don't know where to put that. Like, I guess mechanics can take that as general play style, but it kind of gets intermeshed with your ability usage as well. But all that stuff we just talked about play style wise, I guess we can put into like mechanics or something like that. That was pretty big on Psylocke, I'd say. So overall, I don't know. Overall, that's probably number 1. So that'll be your number 1 thing. Number 2 thing is abilities. Those 2 are probably the biggest to work on for the moment. And then after that, maybe ult usage, and then
what a disgrace.
Or no, maybe not ult usage.Maybe positioning, and then ult usage, and then awareness kind of comes last. Any final questions about anything?
I don't think so. Okay, cool. Gives me stuff to go on. Yeah, it's funny that you said Genji and Tracer, because those are the 2 characters that like I actively avoided. I was never great at those characters. Just like I said, with this game not really having like the only hit scan being Hela, I've tried Hela. Like, I've gave her a good old college try, and like I cannot get her to work. Like, every time I'm on Hela, I feel like I'm just inting. Like, I'm like actively hurting my team. Whereas like other DPS, like I'm able to do so much better on, which is interesting because usually like hit scan was what I was good at. But I don't know. I'll definitely. I think when I started doing it on like the second quick play game, was definitely understanding the go from the side angle a bit more. It made more sense. So I'll definitely keep trying to practice that.
Yep. And like as you're going, just you know, make sure like you're. It's gonna be maybe a little bit of a rough process because you're like kind of relearning how you're playing after doing like and how you're trying to kill things after a while. So hopefully you'll be able to put into practice. Just make sure you're focusing on it as you're going. Like put intentionality in as you're playing. Don't just kind of keep bashing your head into the wall. All right. I'll get you your recording in a minute.